Hello there, very good evening and welcome to Primetime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanathan.
And I'm Umitra Bekun. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Sri Lanka to consider banning social media for children below the age of 12. Government signs agreement to pay 200 rupee daily allowance for estate workers. Constitutional Council meets. Auditor General decision deferred. Former Minister Johnston and two sons among group remanded again. Namal has no chance in 2029, says SJB MP Jagat Vithana.
දැනට පේන තෙක් මානෙක ඉන්නේ පොදු විපක්ෂයත් පිළිගන්නවා UMP එකත් පිළිගන්නවා සජිත් තමයි ඉන්නේ.
Sri Lanka's Sabina Yusuf named second runner-up at Mrs. World 2025. Sri Lanka versus England first T20 in Pallekele. In 2015, the powerful government that was in office at that time collapsed because the people of this country united in one voice against corruption and demanded a system of good governance. 9 years later, in 2024, the people of Sri Lanka have once again delivered a strong mandate rejecting corrupt politics. The public who stood firm with systematic change are today calling loudly and clearly for one thing: an end to corrupt politics. So, what is happening to that expectation today? At the very start of our news bulletin tonight, we are dedicating time to this issue because standing up for the expectations of the people is both a responsibility and a necessity. Today in Colombo, the Janabalaya movement held an extensive discussion on this matter. A government elected through the sovereignty of the people must operate under that very sovereignty. The Attorney General's Department, the Criminal Investigations Department and the judicial system all ultimately function beneath the supremacy of the people. Therefore, there is a clear public demand here. But we still see that the most fundamental demand has not been effectively implemented. We question whether the government has shown the necessary commitment. Yesterday, MP Namal Rajapaksa appeared before the magistrates' court regarding a case involving money laundering related offences. The CID told the court that they had sought instructions from the Attorney General but had not yet received them. As a result, the case has now been postponed until the 30th of June. This case was filed back in 2016. Yet, it continues to drag on because the Attorney General has not provided the necessary legal directives. The seriousness of this delay is clear. The entire case is now pushed to the 30th of June. This has raised a major debate concerning the Attorney General. Civil society and social activists who fight for the rule of law have pointed out that the Attorney General appears to be stepping back, slowing down or deliberately avoiding taking the necessary required actions against figures like Ranil Wickremesinghe and Namal Rajapaksa. We also observed that Harshana Nanayakkara and the Jathika Janabalawegaya said they do not demand the removal of the Attorney General, suggesting that the issue is not about removing him, but about the slow and apathetic manner in which the Attorney General's department is moving. Given the public mandate that this government received, we ask, what intervention has the government made? When there are allegations of corruption involving Namal Rajapaksa, Ranil Wickremesinghe, including the 16 million rupee questionable transaction, why has there been no progress after months? Why is there yet another postponement? We see a powerful circle at play here. A circle of privileged individuals linked to the corrupt dealings of the Rajapaksa and Wickremesinghe families, supported by certain lawyers, state officials and influential elements within key institutions. It is evident to us that the process is not being carried out with urgency. Therefore, we say that what the government must do now is ensure that the police, the CID and the Attorney General's Department function actively and transparently. Action must be taken swiftly against corrupt persons. What does the opposition have left today? Nothing but lies, racism and attempts to escape their cases by making noise. We saw recently how legal action is now being taken against Ranil Wickremesinghe. In response, he runs from temple to temple for weeks, chanting Pirit at Sirikota, giving alms and performing various shows. Then we saw Namal Rajapaksa doing voice cuts outside the courts, telling the government not to enforce the law and lecturing on how the country should be governed. We saw how the Rajapaksa family governed this country for over a decade. And now, when the law is finally being applied, Namal Rajapaksa says, No, don't do this. The government has other things to do. That is sheer bankruptcy. The desperate voice of a defeated faction. We say to Namal Rajapaksa, if you want to set an example as a young leader, first ask your mother to appear before the FCID. They have been requesting more time for 2 weeks now.
Continuing with more local stories. The government has now turned its attention towards imposing social media restrictions for children under the age of 12. Accordingly, a national assessment and policy review on the impact of social media on children is scheduled to begin.
Many countries have made children's online safety a national priority. Our approach must be built on 3 core principles. First, the safety of children is essential. That is a firm policy of our government. Second, our actions must be based on evidence and research. We will never rush into decisions based on headlines. And third, we aim to protect rights and privacy without unnecessary censorship or excessive surveillance. Maintaining a balance between safety, rights and innovation is our primary objective. Around the world, many nations are already taking action in this area. We are studying those experiences carefully and adapting what fits best for us, as it has become a timely need to safeguard our younger generation. As the first step, we expect to begin a national assessment and policy review in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Women and Child Affairs on how social media affects children. Through this, we aim to create an environment where children can use technology to its fullest potential, but safely.
Across the world, several countries have already introduced various laws regulating children's use of social media. Australia, through reforms introduced in 2016 to enhance online safety, implemented regulations setting limits on social media use for children under 16. In the United States, the state of Utah introduced social media regulations in 2023, imposing strict restrictions on social media use for those below 16. France, Spain, the United Kingdom and South Korea have also formulated fundamental laws on this matter. The unified agreement required for the government to pay the 200 rupees a daily incentive allowance for estate workers was signed today. This increased allowance will be added to the January salary, which estate workers are scheduled to receive on the 10th of February. In line with the 2026 budget proposals, the daily wage of estate workers was raised from 1,350 rupees to 1,550 rupees. In addition to this, the government also decided to provide a further 200 rupees daily incentive allowance. Accordingly, from the month of January onwards, an estate worker's total daily wage has increased to 1,750 rupees. Of this increase, 200 rupees will be paid by plantation companies and the 200 rupees daily incentive allowance will be borne by the government. To facilitate the payment of this government-funded 200 rupees incentive, an agreement was exchanged between Prabhat Chandra Kirti, Secretary to the Ministry of Plantations and Community Infrastructure, and Sunil Pohuliatta, Chairman of the Planters Association of Ceylon. Representatives of 22 plantation companies also signed this agreement.
දැනට වැවිලි සහ ප්‍රජා යටිතල පහසුකම් අමාත්‍යාංශයට රුපියල් මිලියන 5000ක
Currently, the Ministry of Finance has allocated 5 billion rupees to the Ministry of Plantations and Community Infrastructure. We have informed regional plantation companies to provide separate bank account details to deposit the government-funded 200 rupee allowance. They have now submitted all these dedicated accounts. They also agreed to provide complete attendance records of workers by the 3rd of February. Based on that, we will transfer all required funds to the regional plantation companies so that workers can receive their payments by the 10th of February.
වතුකම්කරුවන්ට ලැබීමට නියමිතව තිබෙනවා.
මෙම දීමනාව නිසා වැවිලි සමාගම් වලට
This allowance will result in an additional expenditure exceeding 6 billion rupees for plantation companies in terms of wages. Therefore, we expect everyone's cooperation, particularly in productivity and attendance, to help move this national industry forward. We also look to the support of trade unions and other stakeholders in managing production costs and pricing. We thank the government and the Secretary for their efforts.
සියලු අයගේ සහයෝගයත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙමි. රජයටත් ලේකම්තුමාටත් ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා.
The first meeting of the Constitutional Council, held with the participation of the 3 newly appointed civil society representatives, took place today. The office of the Speaker announced that the decision regarding the appointment of the Auditor General has been postponed to the next sitting.
The Constitutional Council convened under the chairmanship of Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne. The newly appointed civil society representatives, Professor Vasant Senaviratne, Austin Fernando and Ranjit Aryaratne, attended the meeting for the first time following their joint confirmation by the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition. Several members also participated via Zoom. Although many had expected a final decision regarding the vacant position of Auditor General during today's meeting, no such decision was made. The matter has instead been postponed to the next council session. Meanwhile, Chief Government Whip Bimal Ratnayaka, who acts as the President's representative on the Constitutional Council, said the President's nomination for the position of Auditor General is expected to be reconsidered tomorrow.
The issue regarding the Auditor General arose because the Constitutional Council failed to fulfill its executive responsibility. In a rather irrational and politically motivated manner, the Council rejected all 4 nominations sent by the Executive President. Now, as far as I know, the President has already, or will today, send a new nomination to the Constitutional Council for the appointment of the next Auditor General. Tomorrow, the newly constituted Constitutional Council will meet for the second time under the leadership of the Prime Minister and the Speaker. We expect the Council to review the new nomination and arrive at a decision.
A group of school development officers has been staging a continuous protest near the Presidential Secretariat for 5 days, demanding that they be absorbed into the teaching service without having to sit for a competitive examination. They're carrying out this demonstration with the support of the Samagi Janabalawega. What exactly is the issue faced by these school development officers?
Who are the school development officers?
The School Development Officer Service was introduced on the 1st of August 2011 to provide employment opportunities to university graduates. The legal framework for the service was formalized through an extraordinary gazette notification issued on the 14th of February 2012. This cadre is entrusted with formulating, implementing and supervising school development activities.
What is the problem?
From 2011 onwards, graduates have been recruited from time to time into the School Development Officer Service. A large group was recruited again in 2022 under former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's Graduate Employment Scheme. According to available data, more than 15,800 graduates are currently working within the School Development Officer Service. Although these appointments were issued specifically for school development duties, many of these officers have subsequently been assigned to teaching roles in schools. Over the years, they have engaged in several trade union struggles, demanding absorption into the teaching service based on this background.
What is happening now?
A fundamental rights petition was filed before the Supreme Court regarding this issue. The matter was resolved with an agreement to provide these officers an opportunity to join the teaching service through a competitive examination. There was also consensus to amend the age limit to facilitate this. However, their recruitment will only take place through such an examination, and the government has already announced that the exam date will be published soon. Despite this, a group of school development officers began a protest near the Presidential Secretariat 5 days ago, demanding direct recruitment into the teaching service without any examination. The Samagi Jana Balawega has extended full support to this demonstration. In recent days, SJB parliamentarians and party members have repeatedly visited the protest site to provide assistance. Today as well, the Deputy Legal Secretary of the SJB stated that this group must be absorbed into the teaching service without requiring them to sit for an exam.
අනුරකුමාර පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා කැමති නම් විභාග ලියලා එන්න ගුරු වෘත්තියට කියලා.
Anurukumara came to Parliament and said that if they want, they should sit for the exam and enter the teaching profession. But remember, when our country was short of teachers, these individuals used their degrees, their abilities and served as the loving teachers who guided our children for 7 long years. Those same dedicated teachers have now been pushed to desperation. They should not be reduced to sitting for an exam like everyone else. These individuals are not the same as ordinary applicants. Someone preparing for the exam today cannot be compared to someone who has taught for 7 years. That difference must be understood.
Meanwhile, another group of school development officers visited the Askiri Mahaviharya this morning and handed over a letter to the most venerable Varakagoda Sri Nyan Ratna Thera, the Mahanayaka of the Askiriya chapter of the Siam sect.
Under 3 successive governments, school development officers have been subjected to continuous hardship. Yet, none of those administrations have provided a proper solution. Similar groups were absorbed into the teaching service in 2006, 2009 and 2014. Therefore, this is neither magic nor something illogical. How will this issue be resolved?
Government MP Chandana Suryarachi, who was previously involved in the trade union struggles of the development officers, explained the situation.
All those who are protesting on the streets today, together with us, reached an agreement with then Minister Susil Premajayanta after several rounds of lengthy discussions at the Ministry of Education to hold a competitive examination. Accordingly, in March 2023, a gazette was issued for this examination. At that point, 35 school development officers who were already serving in schools filed 4 fundamental rights petitions before the Supreme Court. 2 of the petitions demanded that they be absorbed into the teaching service without a competitive exam. The other 2 petitions requested that the age limit for the advertised teaching exam, originally at 40, be increased to 45. After several years, the Supreme Court dismissed all 4 petitions. There was also a case in the Court of Appeal related to the matter. Now that all judicial proceedings have ended, the Cabinet and the Public Service Commission have decided to proceed with the previously suspended teaching exam and to hold 2 competitive exams on the same day. One for graduates already in public service, granting them eligibility to join the teaching service, and another for external graduates. Accordingly, the Cabinet has approved increasing the earlier age limit of 40 to 45, and through the new Gazette, the age limit for non-public service graduates, previously at 35, will now be extended to 40. Based on this, the teaching service competitive examination is scheduled to be gazetted. Since 2007, no government has violated the teacher service regulations by granting direct absorption into the service despite our demands. I believe that even now, although MP Sajith Premadasa clearly says these officers should be absorbed directly, when he was a minister in the Yahapalaniya government and we were protesting, neither Sajith Premadasa nor Akila Viraj Karyavasam nor then Prime Minister Ranil Wickramasinghe approved direct absorption. They all insisted on recruitment through a competitive examination.
Samagi Jana Balawege MP Jagat Vitanage said in Kaluthara today that Namal Rajapaksa has no chance in the next presidential election.
Namal Rajapaksa is more like the JVP. It will take a long time. He is still at 3%. It took nearly 30 years for the previous 3 to rise to leadership. As far as we can see at the moment, the one who is accepted by both the general opposition and the UNP is Sajith. He has a lot of experience, so we are working to seat him in that chair as our leader.
Wimal Weerawansa, once a prominent figure in the Mahinda Rajapaksa administration, today criticised the actions of Sajith Premadasa.
The person who is the opposition leader in the morning is not the opposition leader at night. He says one thing at one moment and something completely different at another. Even after this government was formed, this had to be delayed. There was simply no alternative. So if the opposition leader wants to bring back the old, I cannot understand his position.
Newsfirst with the people.
Sri Lanka police have rolled out an extensive security and traffic plan ahead of the 78th Independence Day celebrations, with significant road closures, diversions and a large deployment of officers to ensure public safety and smooth movement. Speaking to the media, ASP F.U. Wootler, the police media spokesperson, announced that traffic arrangements will be implemented across the next few days to accommodate rehearsals and ceremonial activities.
Tomorrow is going to be the 31st, it's Saturday. We would commence our traffic arrangements from 7:45 to 1:30 p.m. And the day after will be the 1st of Sunday. We will start our traffic arrangements from 5 a.m. up to 1:30 p.m. And on the second, once again, at 7:45 up to 1:30 p.m. During this festival, the Sri Lanka police have almost deployed more than 1,500 police personnel to take care of you for the safety of public, and also around 550 police personnel, especially for traffic arrangements. From tomorrow onwards, up to the 2nd of February, the following roads are kept closed until the end of the rehearsals. We start from the Independent Mawatha roundabout up to the Independence Square, and then Stanley Vijayasundara Road and up to the Foundation Institution. And then from the Bauddhaloka Mawatha up to the RFP Junction and proceeding towards Metland Place. And then moving on to Vijayarama Mawatha up to Vidya Mawatha. And then again from Metland Crescent towards RG Senanayaka Road. And then the Independent roundabout up to Metland area. And also the Horton Place, Metal Crescent also will be kept closed during these rehearsals, and all these areas will be manned by the Sri Lanka police with the traffic officers. In any case of urgencies, if any requirement, any public could meet the respective police officer and to make your final destination very peaceful.
What are the alternative routes for the public?
We're starting from person or any public could use the Nanda Motors roundabout, and you could proceed towards the Philip Gunawardena Road and moving on to Stanley Vijayasundara Road. And second, you could start from the Bauddhaloka Road, moving on to Horton Roundabout, and also up to Vijayarama Mawatha, ending from Horton Place. And finally, the Vijayarama Road towards the Vidya Road, up to Tumulla Junction, which you could come up to Buller's Vijayarama Tumulla Junction. So, ladies and gentlemen, please assist the police. Also, the police will take care of you, and we would wish to see that your destinations are being well taken care of. So during the entire operations, there are 10 parking locations have been identified. In almost all these parking areas, many traffic officers will be deployed for you to obtain any directives, and you will be directed to the respective alternative routes or to the car parks. So please assist. The Sri Lanka police is very much concerned about your safety, very much concerned about your security, and there would be officers in civil attire, and there will be officers also for looking to your welfare, and we would wish to see the public. We will give our fullest support and cooperation to make this great event a success.
Sri Lanka bid a heartfelt farewell to a naval officer who brought immense pride to the country. He was Lieutenant Koen Chamitha, a distinguished special boat squadron officer of the Sri Lanka Navy. Lieutenant Shamita made history as the first Sri Lankan to complete the United States Navy SEAL training program and earn the prestigious SEAL insignia, a feat that placed him among the world's toughest and most elite warriors.
The US Navy SEAL training program is widely regarded as one of the most grueling military courses on the planet. Lieutenant Shamita, serving in Sri Lanka's Special Boat Squadron, endured 14 months of this extreme training, overcoming physical and mental barriers few in the world ever conquer. Since August last year, he had been officially authorized to wear the SEAL Trident, the symbol of exceptional courage, endurance and elite skill. But on the 28th, tragedy struck. Lieutenant Shamita, aged only 28, passed away at the Valisara Navy Base quarters. His promising life and extraordinary journey cut short far too soon. In a solemn tribute, senior officers from all three armed forces, along with officials from the US Embassy in Sri Lanka, including its Defence and Naval Advisory Team, gathered to honour a man who carried both Sri Lanka's flag and global respect on his shoulders. His final rites were performed this evening at the Oruthoda Cemetery, surrounded by grieving family, comrades and officials.
Foreign Minister Johnston Fernando, his two sons and two additional suspects have been remanded again until the 30th following their appearance before the Wattala magistrate Kanchana Niranjala de Silva.
The case originates from a complaint received by the Police Financial Crimes Investigations Division, or FCID, in 2015. According to investigations, the suspects had obtained a liquor license under the name of a company said to be operating from an address belonging to former MP Vijayakala Maheshwaran, claiming the license was for the manufacture of fragrance-based products and cleaning agents. However, the inquiry revealed that the suspects had used the license to purchase 100,000 litres of ethanol, which had then been diverted for other unauthorized purposes. Further allegations were filed under the misuse of state property after it was uncovered that a Satosa lorry had been used on 3 separate occasions to transport 40,000 litres of ethanol to another location.
The second phase of the LOLC Divisavya U Me Ardeshan Social Welfare Program continued for its 27th consecutive day today. The operations were carried out centering on the Kandy, Nuwara and Kurunegala districts.
The renovated buildings of Ambatharna Pushpadana Mahavidyalaya in Kandy and the Sidhuhat Mahavidyalaya in the Nuwara district, which were damaged by the disaster, were handed over to the students this morning. Accordingly, a renovated building at Alakuladiniya Buddhist College in Kurunegala was also handed over to students today. Similarly, the renovated buildings at Patdumbara Mahavidyalaya in Kandy and Ruppe Primary School in Nuwara were handed over to students this afternoon. The renovated buildings at Walapane Mumata Sri Dharmapala Vidyalaya and Kurunegala Bogamo Central College were also handed over to students this afternoon. The LOLC Divisavya Social Welfare Program is dedicated solely to the people of Sri Lanka. The Inter-University Genome Sequencing Laboratory Network was launched at the University of Colombo. The Inter-University Genome Sequencing Laboratory Network was officially launched at the Faculty of Medicine in the University of Colombo, bringing together the Universities of Colombo, Jaffna, Peradeniya, Eastern, Rajarata and Ruhuna. The initiative establishes a single national platform for genomic sequencing. The chief guest of the event was the Secretary to the Ministry of Health, Dr. Anil Jasingha, who was unable to attend in person. His message was delivered by the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo, Professor Vajra Disanayaka.
The initiative marks a significant milestone in strengthening of Sri Lanka's national capacity in genomics and public health sciences. The COVID-19 pandemic demonstrated very clearly that genomic sequencing is no longer a luxury and reserved for advanced research settings. It is an essential component of modern public health systems, enabling timely detection of emerging pathogens, monitoring of viral evolution, and informed decision making during outbreaks and health emergencies. From the perspective of the Ministry of Health, this network represents a valuable national resource. It will support public health surveillance, antimicrobial resistance monitoring, and the early detection of emerging infection threats. In addition, it creates opportunities for the expansion of clinical and translational genomics, including applications in rare disease and cancer care, and for strengthening postgraduate education and research.
This is not abstract science, it is actionable intelligence. And in Sri Lanka, where dengue affects thousands of people annually and antimicrobial resistance claims many lives, genomic surveillance will transform outbreak management and disease control elimination efforts. Imagine detecting a novel Leptospira strain in real time during monsoon floods, or identifying a pathogen when pandemic potential at the point of entry at the hospitals before they spread. Yet technology alone is insufficient. Success demands in-country capacity building. WHO stands ready to support this with technical assistance, drawing from our global learning and leadership program for public health laboratories.
The event was attended by medical professionals, university academics and distinguished guests.
The SASCOM People Summit 2026 was held in Colombo, focusing on how Sri Lanka's tech workforce must evolve in the age of AI, placing people at the heart of transformation.
The SLASCOM People Summit 2026 brought together industry leaders, innovators and professionals to discuss how Sri Lanka's tech talent marketplace must evolve in an AI-driven world.
With the speed and intelligence of modern technology, we unlock possibilities far greater than what either could achieve alone. As leaders, this moment calls us to rethink our responsibilities. How we build cultures where people feel confident using AI rather than being threatened by it. How do we reskill and upskill our teams to meet tomorrow's demands today? How do we redesign work environments where well-being, inclusion, agility, and performance grow together? The hard truth is that if we don't reskill, upskill, and transform our workforce, we are at risk of getting redundant. At SLASCOM, we have embraced these challenges at the outset. Across our work in talent development, capacity building, policy advocacy, and ecosystem collaboration, we are committed to preparing Sri Lanka's workforce to thrive in this new era. This year, one of our key focus areas have been reskilling and upskilling our workforce to meet the future demands.
Held under the theme Human plus Tech, the New Equation, the summit emphasized placing people at the heart of transformation while navigating the future of work. Speakers highlighted the urgent need to move beyond fear and myths surrounding artificial intelligence and instead foster a mindset shift toward reskilling, upskilling, and lifelong learning.
Moving on to news overseas, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's official visit to China has yielded fruitful results for both sides, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Guo Jiakun said at a press briefing in Beijing. Asked to comment on the significance of the visit and expectations for the future development of bilateral relations, Guo said Starmer's official visit from Wednesday to Saturday marks the first trip by a British Prime Minister to China in 8 years.
双方同意建立中英高级别气候与自然伙伴关系。
Both sides agreed to establish the high-level China-UK Climate and Nature Partnership, resume the high-level China-UK Security Dialogue, and hold a new round of institutional dialogues within this year, such as the China-UK Strategic Dialogue and Economic and Financial Dialogue. and the meeting of the China-UK Joint Economic and Trade Commission. China will cut tariffs on UK whiskey from 10% to 5%. Both sides agreed that it's important to have closer people-to-people and cultural exchanges and facilitate cross-border travel to deepen understanding and enhance mutual trust. Both sides agreed in principle to resume normal exchanges between the legislature of the two countries. The Chinese side welcomes UK parliamentarians to visit China more if they so desire and will give positive consideration to visa-free access for UK travellers. Notably, Prime Minister Keir Starmer led a delegation of around 60 important representatives from British business and cultural organisations. The Chinese government is committed to providing a sound environment for UK and other foreign companies to invest in China. China also hopes that the UK will provide a fair, transparent and non-discriminatory business environment for Chinese companies. We noted that a good number of UK people said online that China is a trustworthy friend and partner. Through this visit, China stands ready to work with the UK to implement the important common understandings between the two leaders, see history from a broader perspective, rise above differences, respect each other, jointly develop a long-term and consistent comprehensive strategic partnership between China and the UK for the good of both peoples and the whole world.
既造福两国人民，也惠及世界。
A team of 3 robbers stole suitcases holding $2.7 million in cash on a busy street in central Tokyo, a rare crime in the Japanese metropolis that prides itself on safety.
The heist saw the thieves deploy pepper spray to grab luggage containing the money at around 9:30 p.m. on Thursday near Ueno Station, an area popular with tourists. Local media said the victims were a group of 5 Chinese and Japanese nationals who were trying to place suitcases containing some 420 million yen in a vehicle. It was not immediately clear why the group was carrying the money. Fuji Television said the victims told investigators that the cash was being delivered to currency exchange stations. Separately, a man with 190 million yen in cash was also attacked with pepper spray by a group of 3 men in the early hours this morning at a parking garage at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. Police were investigating the link between these two attacks.
In your sports news, the first T20 international between Sri Lanka and England got underway at the Pallekele International Stadium a short while ago. Rain delayed the start of the match with a wet outfield preventing play to start at the scheduled time. The match ultimately commenced at 8:40 p.m. and has been limited to 17 overs per innings. England won the toss and elected to bowl first. Sri Lanka got off to a blistering start but have started to slide in the middle overs. The Lankans are currently steadying their innings with a run rate of nearly 9 runs per over and are at 98 runs for the loss of 5 wickets after 11 of their 17 overs.
Novak Djokovic will meet Carlos Alcaraz in the Australian Open final after both players maintained their respective bids for history by coming through 5-set epics on an extraordinary day in Melbourne.
When he was leading by 2 sets to love.
38-year-old Djokovic will have his latest shot at a record 25th Grand Slam singles title, the sole unfulfilled ambition of his illustrious career after the Serb came from behind to beat 2-time defending champion Jannik Sinner 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4. Spain's Alcaraz earlier came through 6-4, 7-6, 6-7, 6-7, 7-5 after an enthralling 5 hour and 27 minutes against Alexander Zverev. But the scorelines barely hint at the drama that occurred in both semi-finals as all focus was on Djokovic. A 10-time winner in Melbourne, Djokovic produced a remarkable recovery from love 40 down to move a game from victory after striking the first blow for a 4-3 lead, eventually ending Sinner's resistance with a fourth match point to become the oldest man in the Open era to reach the Australian Open final. This will be his first Grand Slam final appearance since Wimbledon in 2024, while success will be Djokovic's first since a 2023 US Open triumph and an 11th in the Melbourne event. The men's singles final takes place on Sunday after world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka and former Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina meet in Saturday's women's showpiece.
Oh, what a smash.
And these break points have been saved.
Don't underestimate how good that smash was either.
Djokovic dethrones Sinner, and the King of Melbourne is back in the final. Well, stars can't shine without darkness, and it's been a long time since Novak has won a major.
The Cricket World Cup trophy arrived in Kandy today. It is a trophy that will be awarded to the champions of the 2026 ICC Men's T20 World Cup, which will be jointly hosted by India and Sri Lanka.
The 2026 T20 Cricket World Cup trophy was brought to Kandy. It was later displayed to the public at the Kandy City Centre, drawing enthusiastic crowds eager to catch a glimpse of the prestigious symbol of cricketing glory. The T20 World Cup, co-hosted by India and Sri Lanka, is scheduled to begin on the 7th of February. Sri Lanka will host its matches at 3 iconic venues: R. Premadasa Stadium in Colombo, SSC Grounds, Pallekele International Cricket Stadium in Kandy. The opening match of the tournament will feature the Netherlands versus Pakistan, taking place on 7th of February at the SSC Grounds in Colombo.
Sri Lanka has the potential to emerge as the leading marine manufacturing services and innovation hub in the Indian Ocean region. This was a statement made by the chairman of the Chamber of Marine Industries Sri Lanka at the launch of the International Boat and Marine Show and Conference 2026. Sri Lanka is hosting the 9th edition of this event at the iconic port city Colombo, bringing together the global marine industry from today, January 30, until the 1st of February.
The event is the largest edition to date, showcasing marine innovation, lifestyle experiences, and tourism opportunities. Organised by the Chamber of Marine Industries Sri Lanka, the show is supported by the Ministries of Industry, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism, along with Sri Lanka Export Development Board, highlighting Sri Lanka's growing ambitions in the marine sector. The opening ceremony was attended by a number of ambassadors and high commissioners, industry leaders and other dignitaries, underscoring the international significance of the event.
Sri Lanka is an island, and island is defined by the sea. So we have a great potential from the industries like boats, and the theme attracted me actually, boating as a lifestyle. To what extent boating as a lifestyle is prevalent in Sri Lanka is questionable for me. From the point of view of tourism, even do we have kind of a cruise experience at least around the island? So there is a huge potential from this area. Developing that, I think, needs shows like this. So I strongly believe that this event, and of course these kind of initiatives, will play a very important or critical role in setting the platform for us to reach that untapped market potential of this huge market which is available around the world.
The event features lifestyle attractions such as water sports demonstrations, nautical fashion shows, fishing showcases, and sun and sand festival, offering a complete marine lifestyle experience. We as Chamber of Marine Industries, we have signed 4 MOUs, that is with Boat Association of Maldives, Boat Association of Singapore, and the Chamber of Tatarstan in Russia, and also India. And we have made efforts and we have engaged them with the signing of the MOU. Looking ahead, our vision is clear. Sri Lanka has the potential to emerge as the leading marine manufacturing services and innovation hub in the Indian Ocean region. Through strategic partnerships, technology adoption, sustainable practices, and strong public-private collaboration, we aim to position our nation as a preferred destination for marine investment, skilled employment, and high-value exports.
The exhibition features a wide range of boat manufacturers and marine technology companies and the latest marine equipment and services. The Maharaja Media Network is the sponsor of the Boat and Marine Show 2026.
Sri Lanka celebrated a proud moment on the international stage as Sabina Yusuf claimed the second runner-up spot at the 41st Mrs. World Beauty Pageant, marking a significant achievement for the country in one of the world's most prestigious competitions for married women. Happy headlines. It began in 1984 as the Mrs. Woman of the World pageant. Sri Lanka won the crown that year. Sri Lanka won the crown again in 2019, and last year we were able to secure the runners-up position. The 2025 Mrs. World was held in Las Vegas, USA this year. Contestants representing more than 60 countries took part. Sabina Yusuf represented Sri Lanka. She displayed excellence from the very beginning of the competition. She also won the title of Mrs. Photogenic. The grand finale was held with much splendor and grandeur. The title of Mrs. World was won by Sami Chanita Sirakit Krethon of Thailand. Pei Jewin of the United States of America took the runners-up spot. The second runner-up was claimed by Sabina Yusuf of Sri Lanka. Happy headlines.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Primetime News on TV1.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.
Good night.